Its only flaw is the high mortality rate amongst doom divers, though more insane recruits can always be found.
What is so funny, okay? When I was little, I've read all of these, right? I never could figure out what this was a picture of. I thought it was a bat or something when I was little, but now that I've seen Doom Divers from Total War 2, I can now make out the goblin and his little like shrieky face right there going, yeah! Like,
Yeah.
greetings, mortals! Brimthen Barlow here, and I got my buddy Nance.
What's going on, guys?
You may recognize him from our Total War series that we've been running and our Vermintide series, where he has taught me how to play the Total War Warhammer 2 games. And he's a big Warhammer fan.
I am.
And it turns out I've been an even bigger Warhammer fan since I was a teeny boy, because I have played Warhammer Curse of the Horned Rat when I was real young. I didn't know what Warhammer was back then, and all of the lore never made any sense. But I have a kind of special program to do here. This is episode 0, and what I do with episode 0s is it's usually where there's not a lot of gameplay. So if you're watching this right now, feel free to jump to episode 1, because we're just going to be reading. We're just going to be talking about what's going on, because there's a lot of stuff to read in this game.
Yep.
And
A lot of lore.
I don't want to bore anybody that's expecting gameplay immediately, but if you like the sounds of our voice, this is going to be a fun one. So let's start off with the first little spiel that I have here. Nance's favorite faction is the Skaven lads.
Yep, they are. Yes, yes.
You love you some Queek.
Yeah, I love me some Queek.
Well, I've been doing some research, and in like 1986 is when Warhammer kind of started up. In 1987, the Skaven was kind of born. And this was the first page of Skaven to ever be created by the Warhammer Society, so to speak. And it was like some sort of competition that was made. Down there at the bottom of that, it reads, you know what, I can't even read it from here like that. I'm a little funky right now, but whatever. Grab your phone real quick and pull up that image I sent you earlier.
Yep.
My phone's a little busy right now. But anyway, so I'm not an expert on the history of this stuff, but I want to give what I've learned, because I've done a kind of a deep dive type deal. And in 1987, this guy named Jess Goodwin was an ace designer. This is what it says at the bottom. Further additions to the stunning range of mutoid deviants from the greatest of them all. Ace designer and winner of the 1985 most likely to be reincarnated as something nasty award, Jess Goodwin. Fortunately, we managed to persuade Jess to rake over the dying embers of his mind and come up with a special article on the foul brood of Skaven. You'll find this article in the journal. Read it if you dare. Now, they came out with models for the tabletop, and they came out with models for Blood Bowl, but they did not come out with a lot of lore. They didn't really flesh out the lore. The first Skaven novel would come out in the 2000s, and the first time the Skaven show up in print was this Hero Quest side kind of adventure called Quest of the Lichen Master, and basically they were just an enemy archetype from what I can tell. Again, if you have any other information or if I'm telling anything wrong, just let me know down in the comments. Like, I want to look at more information. So if I'm saying something wrong, genuinely tell me.
Yes,
you know how I'm on that. Like,
yeah.
we want to get to the bottom of this, because what I've found out is back in the early days of Warhammer, they had magazines that they would publish information on, and a lot of those magazines got lost. So there's a like this little picture that came up right here was in a magazine, and if somebody didn't, copy that information's now gone, because like basically none of the magazines are around anymore, from what I understand. So they came out with some more models, and they kept giving them names and stuff like Ashla the Black, Wade, Banebreath. Throt the Unclean is one that we actually know together here from the Total War series. Queek and the gang wouldn't come until much later, when the novels in the 2000s came out.
Yep.
Now, why are we talking about all this? Why does all this matter? Well, The game we're playing today was made in 1995. 4th edition for Warhammer Fantasy was when Skaven got their first kind of codex battle tome type thing. And in that, they provided lore about it. But that wasn't until 1997. So, concluding on this, there wasn't much lore about Skaven pre-1995, and it would take them 2 more years, basically, to get more information on it. If anything, the game released right when 4th edition was created, but I don't have any citations on that. So what I'm thinking is, this game, while it is the first Warhammer video game to have Warhammer in the title, Blood Bowl and Hero Quest being their first 2 games, I believe that this is the first evidence of Skaven that was being fleshed out. This was Games Workshop's first attempt at giving lore to the 1987 Jess Goodwin model.
Yep.
And I believe, and this is why it's so important to me, this is a time capsule. This is a game not many people knew about. This is a game that is very different from pretty much any other retro game that I've played. And it contains information that has been sitting there for 25 years.
I know, that's crazy to think about. It really is. Because I had no idea it existed either.
So I'm going to show a couple of models from the 1986 and 87 range here. Right here was a plague monk. Then here's one of the Eshin assassin dudes. And then here is a Grayseer, one of the first Grayseers. I actually really like these models. Most of these older Games Workshop models were really goofy looking. Like if you look up Croak, his original model, he's like it's like super weird looking. But I really, really like the Skaven models. They are a lot more rat-like, which is what I like. And then these are our today's Ratmen from Total War, because I made a wallpaper dedicated to them. But it all started with this Jess Goodwin winning an award for being considered the most likely to be reincarnated into something nasty.
I know.
Skaven were a lot cuter back in the day. I agree, Mr. Sir Baldus. But yeah, this is a time capsule, and we are really excited to get into this. So let's go ahead and swap right over to the game. How about it?
Yes.
So I'm going to let these intro sequences kind of roll off without my face cam, but we will be here talking with you through the whole thing because I can't get copyright striked. Let's get started. Ooh. Controllers like to turn off. So anyway, this is Warhammer Cursed of the Horn Rat. It is a title that I played when I was real little, and I grew up with this title. And genuinely speaking here, I didn't know anything about it. I just read these kind of lore boxes and just went with it. And I was encapsulated with these like characters and this story, and I didn't know I was going to be a Warhammer fan.
Right.
In, 1998, 2000 something. Storm clouds gather over the border princes, unnoticed by the reclusive wizard engrossed in the study of the profound. I missed the rest.
Went a little too fast there.
A little too fast there, yeah. This is PlayStation 1 cinematics right here, baby. Oh yeah, there's voice acting in this too.
Yeah.
I don't even have to read it. I can just let the voice actor talk.
I love the eyes in this.
The little rat eyes in the window. So what do you think he is? Is he like an Empire Red Wizard?
He's a wizard from the Border Princes.
Border Princes. Scarfester. Rancid. We need to write these names down. Scarfester and Rancid. Warpstone.
Good old Warpstone.
Good old Warpstone. Yes, yes. Tank will hate. Okay, I want to write some of these names down. Rancid. Like, hate. What was the other one? It was like Fester.
Something like that.
Something Fester. Scarfester.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. Scarfester. And back when I was playing this for the first time, that was like the greatest animation on the planet.
Right.
So let's get us back here real quick. So I'm going to start us off here on a new campaign. I think I have a loaded campaign from a really long time ago. But we'll go ahead and kind of get started here. I always liked this old man. This is the menu. This is the cool menu.
I wouldn't even know what to think of who that old man is.
I do need to can I go back one? No, I don't think it will without me having to restart. I need to adjust the music. No, I don't. I'm not gonna do it. I'll just do this. Because I don't want to get copyright striked if I can keep from it. So anyway, this is the thing that I wanted to show you. This is where the treasure trove of lore comes from. These 3 books right here. We got the Book of Magic, which I'll move my face cam just a little bit up so everybody can see that a little better. And I'll actually show the whole page for just a second to everybody get that kind of look at it, you know. So anyway, get your warpstone and warpstone accessories at Queekstand.
Heck yes, warpstone did.
So there's lore about magic, there's lore about troops, and then there's lore about bestiary. Troops are what I think is our stuff, and then bestiary is like the enemy's stuff, and then Book of Magic is like all magic in the game. Which one do you want to see first? You want to go right to Skaven, or do you want to look at some other stuff like dwarves or anything?
I gotta say Skaven for last.
Save Skaven for last. Well, let's start with our stuff then, if we're gonna do that. So this is troop roster. And this is Grudgebringer Cavalry. Now, the name Grudgebringer would live on through my life. We actually had named one of our golfing tournaments that me and my family did after Grudgebringer. I used Grudgebringer as like a clan name for video games sometimes. And I used Grudgebringer as a password for a long while too. This one's so funny. And I really loved it. So if I'm right, this lets us look at I think that's damage, and then that's armor, and then it's how much they cost to maintain.
19 gold out of 192.
Yeah, I think it's 192 to pay for them, and then 19 to upkeep them. So here's some of the lore. So named after their captain's powerful sword, Grudgebringer, these mercenaries have enjoyed a prosperous first year of operation, commanding an unsullied respect on their home turf in Reckland. Reckland, isn't that in?
Yeah, it's Reichland.
Reikland, yeah.
It's it's where Carl France starts at in Warhammer 2.
Ah, see, that's
His
where you're
faction
gonna
name is
bring
Reichland.
stuff to the table, because I don't know the deep stuff for stuff like that. The Grudgebringers have since marched to the troubled border princes, where they quest for a major campaign to prove themselves worthy of greater fortunes.
Interesting.
Grudgebringer Infantry. They have a special skill, Potion of Strength. It's literally like the items on Total War. You just click on it and it does its thing. So named after their... Okay, so this is the exact same reading from just a second ago. And that's all of our units that we have right now. So that's all we can read right now.
Well, we need to get more units.
And we can fire them. We can remove them from our army.
Fire them all. Yes. For the Skaven. Make sure Skaven wins this day.
Let's go look at Book of Magic real quick. So this is items and spells. This is Amber. The Flying Bower. The caster is swallowed up by a whirlwind of glowing amber energy and transported to anywhere on the battlefield. If the caster teleports himself into close combat range, the maneuver is counted as a charge, power 1. So you got like mana and you got to use it. Oh, I just noticed. I just noticed right here is like an orc symbol. Look at that old orc symbol right there.
That is.
And then you've got a holy symbol
Grimgall.
and then a dragon up here. Dude, an old orc symbol's on here. Tangling Thorn, a mass of dense plant growth erupts from the ground and overwhelms those trapped within it. The target can do nothing for the rest of the battle unless the caster ends the spell, is slain, or is dispelled.
That's a pretty good spell.
Yep. Hunting Spear. The wizard plucks a glowing ember spear from the air and casts it at the target. The spear will streak towards it, bending and twisting around obstacles in its path. If the target is a regiment, the spear will plunge through to hit subsequent ranks before its energy is dispersed. I'll let you read this.
Oh, gosh. Let's see here. The curse of... I'm going to butcher that name. Unheard, I guess that'd be the thing. The wizard pronounces a curse upon
Unheard, yeah.
Yeah, Unheard. The wizard pronounces a curse upon his enemies. Wispy ethereal spirits rise up and harass them, reducing their chance of successful hit, slowing them down. Mounted regiments may panic as their mounts will shy away from the spirits. Spell remains effective for the rest of the battle unless the caster removes it, is slain, or it is dispelled. The spell cannot be recast while it remains in play.
See, what's so funny to me is that this is a PlayStation 1 game. And listen
It's
to how
so in
detailed
depth.
these are.
Yeah, they are really in depth. Oh, Flock of Doom. That's actually in Warhammer 2.
With an unearthly screeching call, the caster summons thousands of birds which swoop upon the target, covering them with a ferocious mass of feather, beak, and claw. Once it has attacked, the flock fades back into energy, leaving only a few feathers behind. So this is bright spells. That was all amber spells. We've got a bunch of bright spells. Let's see how many there is here. Okay, so not too many. I'll let you read the bright spells and then I'll read celestial.
Okay. All right, so bright. Piercing bolts of burning with a sweep of the wizard's arm. The air fills with arrows of orange flame. The bolts of burning fly in a straight line, hitting the first regiment in their path, or until the energy dissipates. Power 2.
The burning head.
The burning head.
Yeah.
A phantasmic flaming head forms in front of the caster. The fiery head shoots forwards, laughing insanely as it burns a trail of destruction in its path until it fades back into the magical realms. Anyone caught in its path will take a hit. A unit suffering damage from this attack may panic. That is probably going to be a bread and butter spell for us.
If we can get it.
If we
got to get a bright wizard or whatever, if I remember it correctly.
Well,
but
we definitely want to keep it alive if we get one.
The burning head is in the tabletop and on Total War.
Let's see.
Doom!
Conflagrance of doom. A burning fireball appears high above the battlefield. It continues to plummet towards the earth, growing larger as it does so. Good gosh, is it a meteor? When the fireball hits the ground, it explodes in a fury of fire and destruction. Any regiments in its path may panic before impact. While the conjuration remains in play, it cannot be cast again.
I just noticed that the B in bright has a little mace in it too.
Flamestorm. This is in Warhammer 2 too. It's the flame vortex. A mighty pillar flame bursts from the ground and engulfs everything in fire. A flamestorm will remain in place and cannot be entered effectively, blocking movement. It will remain until the spell is used again. The caster is killed or it is dispelled. Good gosh. And fireball, the classic, of course. Balls of bright scarlet fire leap from the wizard's hand and fly in a straight line towards their target. First target in its path is enveloped by flames.
Also a great D&D spell. All right, these are the celestial ones, which is funny to me because they use like this demon skull thing and then call it celestial.
Right.
Wind blast. The air is driven into a howling wind blast, which extends in a straight line from the wizard. Any regiments within the blast must resist the wind or be blown to the ground, where they will be helpless while the spell lasts. So you can actually knock down units with this. It is not possible to move or shoot across the wind. The spell lasts until it is dispelled. The caster moves or is slain, or he decides to end it. While the wind blast lasts, the spell cannot be cast again. Azure blades, thin razor-like shards fill the air around the wizard, whirling in orbit around him like miniature stars. Any close combat opponents instantly take hits and continue to do so until they move away. A little blender spell. The wizard is slain or the magic is dispelled. Storm of Shimtek. What? The caster's body is racked with the fierce storm of light and energy. A gale of brightness pours from his eyes and mouth, and his limbs are splayed into a rigid cruciform shape. What? The outer shell of his body cracks, and a series of powerful light bolts streak towards the target. Once the strike has been made, the storm ends and the caster collapses unconscious. Good God, the caster soon regains consciousness.
That would be not a spell I'd be wanting to cast.
Like,
That just paralyzes itself. Just knocks itself out.
That's a lot of damage. I agree with Sir Baldus. The Sapphire Arch. The wizard raises his arms and chants, and as he does so, a sweeping arch of pure sapphire swirls into existence. The arch remains in place for 30 seconds when it is taken back into the wizard's hand. Any regiments within move through the arch, disappear, and will appear back through the arch when the spell is cast again in a new location. So it's teleport portal.
Yep, pretty much.
Simple enough. Lightning, just straight up. With a crack of thunder, a bolt of shearing cerulean lightning leaps from the caster's palms and strikes the first regiment in its path, or until its energy dissipates. The spell is particularly effective against buildings, war machines, and other comparable constructions. Here's something funny. I was little and didn't know how to play these kinds of games, so I didn't play very far.
We might go all the way through this.
This would be a fun one to go through.
Yeah, it's going to be. Sounds fun. All these spells just sound interesting to use.
So some of the items here, I'm not going to read through them. This is arcane wording. If you'd like to pause the screen and read some of the items, we got a lot of factions to go through.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go through it. Arcane protection, armor of the beard, a little dwarf armor set. Dragon blade, dread banner. Oh, I like how that banner looks. I'm gonna show that off a little bit. That's a cool banner. Grudgebringer, the sword itself. Sword of Heroes, meteoric armor, banner of might, parrying sword, potion of strength. That's what the infantry has right there.
Yep.
This potent magical brew is created from troll blood and the heart of a griffin. A character who drinks the potion will increase his strength for duration of the entire battle.
That's
so just
really strong.
Drink potion and move.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Not unless they get tore up by magic.
Patolos, Shield of Patolos, Rock Splitter Hammer, Sword of Might, Sword of Alor, Talisman of Obsidian. Ooh, I like how that looks. Let me go show that a little bit better too. Whoop. Banner of Wrath. I could see a lot of dwarf items there. You know?
I wonder if there's dwarves in this game. I think it's mainly Empire Border Princes. It seems like
I fought the dwarves.
Oh,
they are mean. They were the gatekeeper of little boy me.
Oh,
I could never beat the dwarves.
I mean, makes sense though.
So here's the bestiary of all factions that are in this game. We have Goblos. And I am going to remove my face cam here because I want to show the art off for each of these pages. And so we got goblins. Goblins are the smaller, though smarter cousins of the orcs, particularly the partially nomadic. They travel in great convoys, towing slaves and other merchandise behind them. Although physically they are quite weak, their cunning and vicious personalities make them dangerous foes. If nothing else, their sheer weight of numbers often tells in a battle. And would you like to do every other one?
What?
Of these?
It's up to you if you want to. Oh man.
Those are cool.
Yeah, the giant wolf is a fearsome monster with slavering fangs and huge claws. They are a great menace and have been hunted to such an extent that only in the wastes of Kislev it is still common for the entire villages to be destroyed by marauding wolf packs. Goblins ride these fearsome mounts to battle, and in combat it is often the wolf which is the greatest threat.
Is Kislev the new one for Warhammer 3?
Yes.
Is it spelled like that though? I thought it was like Kilev or something.
No, it's
spelled
spelled
the
right.
same?
It's spelled right.
So we have Kislev all the way back to this game.
Kislev.
Isn't that interesting? I didn't expect to recognize a name like that here. Especially with
There's been a lot of names I've recognized in this game.
That's funny. Squig Riders?
Oh my gosh. They're in here.
Look at the picture for them though. They're still a mouth and like mole looking thing now. Like instead of being like this half like orc goblin-y looking thing, it looks more like a mole. Boba said, "Ooh, you read that backstory, Mr. Nance."
Ooh, yes. I'll read your backstory. What?
Sir Baldus said that was some cute squigs. What up, DL Genesis? Trained by night goblins as steeds and war beasts, squigs are hybrid creatures, part fungus and part flesh. With tough ball-shaped bodies and clumsy taloned feet, squigs have huge gaping mouths, thronged with slashing teeth, able to bite a large creature clean in two, and easily capable of swallowing a night goblin whole. So I think it's funny. They were pushing the fungus orc stuff even back then.
Yeah.
25 years ago, we were still pushing fungus orcs, which is great. I
Good
like that
old
they've
fungus.
stuck with it. The Doom Divers.
They actually have the Doom Divers in this game. Oh boy. Oh man.
Designed. Oh, yeah, I'll let you go.
Designed to compensate for the limited scouting abilities of the Goblin Wolf Riders, the Doom Diver catapults launches its passengers across the battlefield, held aloft by a pair of bat-like wings. The fatalities and confusion caused by the landing Doom Diver impressed the Goblins so much that it became an important weapon in their arsenal. Of course it was. Its only flaw is the high mortality rate amongst Doom Divers, though more insane recruits can always be found.
What is so funny, okay? When I was little, I've read all of these, right? I never could figure out what this was a picture of. I thought it was a bat or something when I was little, but now that I've seen Doom Divers from Total War 2, I can now make out the goblin and his little like shrieky face right there going, yeah! Like I never could figure out what it was. Like it confused my eyes when I was little.
You could though. You could really make that think that that's a bat. Oh boy.
Night goblins dwell in deep caves, shunning the light of day and only surfacing at night, garbed in black cloaks. Deep underground, they cultivate many forms of fungi, some of which have bizarre effects upon their behavior. These fungi are traded with the other goblin tribes in return for weapons. Like their surface-dwelling cousins, night goblins tend to be underhanded, vicious, cowardly, and cunning. Night goblins even more so there.
Right. Oh no. And there it is, the chain with the ball.
So we were doing Night Goblin Fanatics even 25 years ago.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And they mow through infantry. I wonder if they do the same thing in this game. Or they just annihilate infantry.
You know what, Sir Baldus, we will do that for you right now. Nance, read it in orc speak.
Oh gosh.
You can do it.
Oh man, all right. I'm gonna try. It's probably gonna be really jank, but I'll try.
Hey, if you need to practice beforehand, go for it. Just say something else like, I'm the biggest and the best.
I'm the best, the bigger. I'm looking for a scrap. Okay. Let's see. Night Goblin Fanatics employ a brew made from the deadly madcap fungi, which whips them into shape in a static frenzy, unless giving them incredible strength. You what? Physically restrained until close to the enemy. The fanatic crazy goblin is thrown towards the foe, spinning his great ball and chain through his enemy ranks. Although lethal, the fanatic is often unable to control his movements, hitting friendly units as well, which we do not care.
These gits get out there and just swing their balls around.
These gits swing their balls everywhere.
That's awesome.
I hope that was good enough for you. I tried.
You what? These night goblins eat vast quantities of the fungi that grows in the dank caves in the darkness. So I thought it went just a little Skaven there at the end.
Yeah, at the end.
The darkness. Some of these fungi contain toxins that are either hallucinogenic or downright poisonous. Night goblin shamans are well versed in fungus lore, knowing which mushrooms can be eaten safely and which to use for potions and brews. It is a night goblin shaman who brews up the mushroom brew, which sends the goblin fanatics into a whirling frenzy. And look at him in his little sack over there. Like, he's got this little sack of mushrooms. Big thinking, you
Big
best.
thinking, you
Big thinking.
I'm the best.
And now for some actual orcs.
Oh, you what?
I was taller and smaller than the man.
Actually, they're bigger than man.
Yeah.
All right. You want me to read this?
Yeah.
Okay. Taller and stronger than man, orcs are thick-skulled with pronounced jaws and relatively small brains. Well, it's not stupid. Orcs are single-minded, especially in times of war. Violent and savage orcs from the might of the greenskin armies. Well, it's the largest orcs, the big uns, form together into more deadly units. Orc society works through fear and brutality, with the bigger orcs leading everyone bullying the goblins.
Everybody bullies the goblins. That's 100%.
I would hate to be a goblin.
War boars are ferocious animals as big as a horse, strong, vicious, bad-tempered, and in all respect dangerous and unpredictable. Ridden by orc boar boys, these creatures are deadly, goring, and stampeding their way through the enemy ranks. And I'll read the next one because that one was short.
Okay.
Orc shamans. This is another one that confused the crap out of me of what I was looking at. And it looks like it's an orc riding on like a dragon.
Well,
Like-
they ride wyverns.
I guess. yeah.
Azag the Slaughterer, that looks like Azag.
That does look a little bit like Azag.
And he rides a dragon.
Yeah. We need Dumpling to see Azag and like his glory day here on top of that. Orc shamans draw magic from the raw wah energy radiated by all orcs and goblins. The more green skins present, the more easily they can cast spells. However, a shaman can handle only so much wah energy if there are 2 green skins around him. Oh, they misspelled the word too. Then the shaman can suffer dizzying sickness, horrendous injuries, or even death. Shamans often ride ferocious war ravens into battle. That's pretty cool. It's not misspelled, it's Daka.
He's not wrong. Oh no, they actually have these in here too, the rock lobbers. Oh man, okay. The rock lobber is a powerful and destructive weapon which hurls large boulders high into the air, send them crashing through enemy ranks, crushing limbs and armor alike. Some use a massive counterweight to catapult their missiles into the air, while others use Dorsian power, like a giant crossbow. The bigger the engine, the larger the rock it can throw, and the more damage it can do. It sounds like an orc. Bring the bigger the rock, the better.
And I fully agree, Sir Baldus. I love that they have preserved so many of these ideas into the newest Warhammer games. Black orcs are the greatest of the orcs, physically stronger and with black or extremely dark green skin. They take war much more seriously than other orcs, priding themselves on being the best fighters among their race, and are usually heavily armored and carrying more or better weapons. Black orcs prefer to fight at close quarters, where their brute strength and determination makes them very powerful opponents. And they very much are.
Oh,
yes, here it is. Yes.
Yes, the Skaven. Yes,
Fine.
yes.
All right, this is the whole point of why we're making this video here, and I'm going to bring us over to here real fast. Before we read the Skaven stuff and get into their Skaven-y stuff like that, I want to make it very clear. The whole point that we were doing this stream, the whole thing is to talk about the Skaven lore and everything. And those of you that's currently on Twitch, this game came out in 1995. Skaven lore didn't really pick up until 1997. The game started in 1986, 87. Skaven were first created in 87 by a competition, but they didn't flesh out the story. The first novels came out in like 2000, 2005, somewhere right in there with the Black Plague novels and other stuff. But basically what I'm trying to get at here is this is a 25-year-old time capsule for Skaven lore. The game is the first Warhammer game that was ever created, not Bloodborne, not Blood Bowl, not HeroQuest, but the first game to have Warhammer in the title, and it was featuring Skaven. And it was featuring Skaven in a time where their lore hadn't been fleshed out yet. So either they were fleshing out the Skaven story during production and then released 4th edition, or 4th edition and this was being worked on together in some sort of way, because there wasn't hardly any Skaven lore until this game and 4th edition, which came out roughly at the same time. And what we are about to read is the first instance of Skaven lore, in my mind.
Which is going to be great.
Unless somebody else can refute it and talk to us about it, because we want to see the first Skaven stuff, you know?
Yeah.
The Quest of the Lichen Master was the first time that had been written in a book, but they were as enemies and they weren't fleshed out as a race. We're just talking about the first time that they actually put canonicity to the Skaven. So let's get into it.
Alrighty.
Yes, yes.
Skaven are a cunning and treacherous race of ratmen dwelling in the dark empire beneath the lands. Split into clans, the Skaven are dedicated to the ascension of the god, the Horned Rat, and the fall of the civilizations above their undercities. Great though twisted engineers, the Skaven employ lethal warp technology to accomplish their plans, a science long forgotten and shunned by other races.
Yep, I mean, that has definitely all stayed true to it. The picture of them here has kind of changed a little more. They look more stunty and kind of stronger than what they usually are. Like in the newer renditions, we see them as a little bit taller, a little more lanky, a little bit more scared. These rats look like they want to fight.
I know, right? It's Queek. It's Queek's men.
It's Queek's men. Eshin Assassins. Now, these are some that we have even today. So this is some of the first Eshin Assassin information. Clan Eshin are feared for their skills in the arts of sabotage and assassination, as well as their warpstone weapons. Trained from birth, these Skaven are capable of pushing their bodies to perform physical feats considered impossible by others. Usually hidden within larger units, the Clan Eshin Assassins will wait for an opportunity to attack the enemy leaders, seizing any opening to use their arcane blades. They definitely stuck with all that. That is Eshin in a nutshell.
It is.
That is awesome.
Packmaster. Clan Mulder has relatively few warriors, but sends packs of its mutant beasts into battle. They are driven on by specially trained packmasters, experts in applying the lash and goading their translucent beasts into combat. It is the packmasters who control the brutal rat ogres, unleashing their full might when the moment is right.
We got reference to rat ogres. Yes.
Oh man, giving them the bonk.
Just looking at his picture, there's like basic rat, like giant rat type things that's around him instead of rat people, which is interesting. Plague monks. Oh, yes.
Here comes the blender.
The blender people. Let's see how well they stuck up with it. The plague monks of Clan Pestilence are dedicated to the spread of corruption and decay in the name of the Horned Rat. In battle, plague monks hurl themselves into the fray with fanatical ferocity, often led by a great plague priest who raises their frenzied devotion to new heights. The monks themselves are maniacal fighters whose exposure to disease and pestilence has toughened them, inuring them to pain and injury. So yeah, this is what was interesting to me with plague monks, right? When I first saw plague monks and was hearing their names, I was thinking they were going to be like caster types, like, you know, like wizards sort of, but like lesser wizards or something.
Yeah.
And the reason why I thought that is I have fanatical cultists in Warhammer 40k that are literally like infantry of 10 dudes that can cast a spell.
Right.
And that's what I was expecting plague monks to be. But instead, plague monks are like one of the strongest, like dual sword using things I've ever seen.
Wear no armor.
No armor.
Basically the barbarians of the Skaven.
Yeah, just blender the crap out of everything. And I love it. Like, I wish I had thought about going back to this game and reading some of this stuff as I was getting into Warhammer, but, you know, I got into 40k, so I didn't really have much reason to look at Age of Sigmar information.
Right. Now you do.
Now I do. Grey Seers.
Grey Seers. The greatest wizards of the Skaven are the Grey Seers, who occupy an elevated position within the Skaven society and are greatly feared by ordinary members of their race, more intelligent and longer living than the ordinary Skaven. They are often to be found leading their brethren in all manner of diabolical deeds. Diabolical deeds.
They are definitely diabolical.
Diabolical. I don't know why I said Diablo. I seen Diablo and I was like, Diablo!
Diablo! El Diablo! Look, just like, notice like how this guy's skull is a lot different. Like, he has such a more thin kind of skull. And I fully agree with Sir Baldus. These would be amazing tattoos.
Right. that actually does look like a tattoo.
Warp fire thrower!
Oh, heck. We gotta deal with them in this game too?
Yes!
Oh, man.
The Skaven warp fire thrower hurls a blast of warp flame, a volatile mixture of inflammable chemicals and powdered warpstone combined with magic. A single gout of warp flame can reduce a regiment of knights or foot soldiers to a ashes in moments. Unfortunately, warp fire throwers can also misfire catastrophically, destroying themselves and their crew in a spectacular explosion. See, this is what's so cool to me, is like with a lot of IPs that's been going for decades and tons of time, usually they'll have like
lore changes,
or even like their older material was kind of wonky a little bit,
obsolete at a certain point.
This information still holds up today.
I know. That's the crazy part.
The Doom Wheel!
The Doom Wheel, yes. The Doom Wheel was designed by the Chief Warlock of Clan Scryer. Icket Claw is in here as well. That's cool. It harnesses the power of raw warpstone rolling forward, surrounded by a crackling halo of purple warp lightning, and destroying anything it contacts. The Doom Wheel has a single Warlock engineer as crew. Its motive power is supplied by hordes of giant rats in 2 great treadmills, which in turn generate the warp energy.
And they stuck with that entire analogy, even into the future, like having the rats turning treadmills. Like they come up with this concept, and it is stuck. That is so cool.
I have an idea how they invented Doom Wheels. They stared at a hamster running on a wheel.
Yeah, for sure. Rat Ogre, heck yeah. Bred by Clan Malder, rat ogres are huge, Skaven-like creatures, the size and strength of ogres, but possessed of the speed and ferocity of Skaven. A rat ogre's small brain is devoted entirely to fighting and bloodshed. In battle, units of rat ogres are controlled by Clan Malder packmasters who direct the monsters, unleashing their devastating charges when the time is ripe. And I like that they use Clan Malder still. They stuck with Clan Malder being the ones that mess with the genetics and like mutations and stuff. Even here.
It's actually very fun to do in Warhammer 2, messing with that stuff. You can also screw yourself over if you're not careful messing with that stuff.
That is what a rat ogre's hand looks like when they haven't chopped it off and turned it into a warp grinder.
Yeah.
That is disgustingly mean looking. I'm trying to spot his face in this picture.
It's right there, I can see it. It's like he's got his head turned.
Oh, I see it now. Okay, yeah, because I see where the tooth is right there now. It's turned to the left. His left. That's so cool. Dragons! We've left the Skaven. That's all the Skaven in this game.
No! I don't want to read anything else.
I just want all Skaven, please.
All the Skaven.
Dragons, though few dragons remain, these magical creatures are still the most fearsome combatants. Huge yet graceful, dragons can tear through stone with their mighty claws and fangs, while their fiery breath can reduce an army to cinders in minutes. Fortunately, those remaining are reclusive creatures, mostly spending their time asleep in dark holes deep beneath the mountains.
I agree, Sir Baldus.
All right, stream's over. No, we're gonna get to more Skaven here in a minute. We gotta play the game to get to them, though.
All right. Giants are incredibly strong but slow-witted creatures dwelling mostly in the untamed Northlands. Notorious drunkards, they will often join forces with the orcs and ogres in return for a share of the loot. Always hungry, they consider anything smaller than themselves as potential food. Well, that sums it up. That's everything almost, including men and other intelligent races. Easily outwitted, their main strength is their incredible size.
I'm gonna give you the next one because I'm fixing something.
Oh, good. All right. Trolls. Trolls are immensely powerful bestial creatures with long, gaggling limbs and cold, damp hides. They are extremely dim-witted, but very strong, ripping men apart with their bare hands. Trolls will eat anything, flesh and bone, wood, rocks, even metal. Jesus, I didn't know that. Troll flesh can regenerate even after the most hideous of wounds, and the only sure way to kill a troll is with fire.
Well, see, now the goal is to read about some of the other like beasts and stuff.
This
like,
tells me we need a bright wizard.
Yeah.
That's what that tells me.
Amber wizard too.
Does it have fire? No, it does have fire.
No, oh.
No, we need a bright wizard.
Yeah, bright
all
wizard,
the way.
right.
We commit to bright wizard.
Dwarves! An ancient people, dwarves are shorter than men, though stronger and broader in stature, famed for their might in battle and endurance. That is an understatement on endurance. They are a stern race, respectively only age, wealth, and skill, and are particularly unforgiving, remembering all wrongs, grudges. Dwelling deep beneath the mountains, they fight a constant battle against their orcish enemies, and on many occasions have come to the aid of the Empire to fight a mutual foe. Now, here's what's something interesting here. The orcs of this passage eventually became Skaven, because dwarves are more known now to be fighting Skaven in their undercities and stuff than are to fight orcs. So that is I mean, of course they're fighting orcs as well.
Yeah, because orcs is what took over all their kingdoms, pretty much.
So it's not an entirely oversight, but like now there's a lot more heavier Skaven versus dwarf kind of motif.
Yep.
Mark this day in the book.
Mark this day in the book.
Ah, your favorite.
Slayers, yes, because it's me. To die in battle. Slayers are those shamed members of the dwarf race who seek to redeem their honor through death and glorious combat against powerful foes. Dyeing their hair bright orange, Slayers will seek out huge creatures to fight, trolls, giants, dragons, or demons. Though hoping for heroic death, Slayers always fight to win, for anything else would bring further dishonor and shame.
Them fat Slayers.
They do. They have a stomach on them in this artwork.
Booba said the left one looked like you.
I mean, he's not wrong at this point.
What elves? Hey, Xanfer, your guys are here now. What elves are the last of their race in the old world, graceful yet lethal. They are expert woodsmen and archers, slaughtering their enemies with deadly arrows, then fading into the shadows. Though their most important kingdom is the Forest of Lauren in Bretonnia, they have little contact with man, save for during times of crisis when they will ride out to ally themselves against the forces of chaos. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Speaking of chaos, Skaven, and we know this also in current edition, they were touted as a chaos faction, like straight up, even in 1986, 7, whenever they came out.
Yep, they were Nurgle.
Now they're Nurgle aligned. I don't think Nurgle and everything was around at this time, though.
It might not have been.
I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that one. The most numerous race, men, were little more than barbarians when the elves and dwarfs fought their great wars. Now controlling much of the land, they are civilized people, with only the fringe tribes showing signs of barbaric origins. Fighting the orcish races, plus the ever-present threat of chaos, the human nations work in a loose alliance through territorial wars often break out between them. Though territorial wars often break out between them. And I like that they have a gun in one guy's hand and then the big broadsword in the other.
Yeah, that's a great swordsman right there on the left side, and that's a, gosh, what do they call them? Rifleman. I think they just call them rifleman.
Yep. For Sigmar! Oh, that was it.
Men was the last Sigmar.
Men was the last one there. So now back to our wonderful caretaker here. All right, so we're going to get into the game now.
Woo! I'm ready.
That is the lore of this game. I can go here. And I am very proud to say and very excited to get back into this game. I just want to let everybody know that, like, this is episode 0. We're going to get into gameplay on this next episode. But this game has a very special place in my heart at this point. Because, like, I grew up with it. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know anything about it. But I loved the art styles. I loved the stuff that I could read about on it. And this, I guess, influenced me to later pick up Warhammer in a way.
Yeah.
Because the lore of Warhammer is so good.
It is. Like at first, if you don't know anything about the lore, yeah, it's pretty hard to get into. But like once you dive into it, like there's some great people on YouTube that can really get you into the lore.
For sure.
But like this game right here has probably helped a few people out in chat, honestly, with the lore.
No doubt. Anyway, we're going to move over to the game. Let's start episode 1. Thank you guys for watching episode 0. Hopefully we entertained you with some of the lore here. We'll have some more lore as we go through because we acquire new units and stuff, and they go into the troop roster book, and we'll get to read about them. So, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more. Hopefully you guys enjoy the video.